I hope I can be heard. Is this coming through just fine? Good. Before I begin, I would like to say a couple of words of deep appreciation for the sponsors and the people who have put this program together. I have been involved in speaking publicly all over the planet and all over the United States. I've been at conferences here, I've been at conferences there, and I know how terribly difficult it can be to put a program like this together. And I have to say, I have this respect and admiration for the people who've done this. Most of all, I respect their courage for dealing with a subject like this, where most of the elite leadership and the power groups of the world want this subject to go away. And these courageous young men who have put this together are brave, and they deserve my respect and your admiration. And I want to say I thank you because I know what you've been through. Now, I must explain something else to you. I never read from a script. I don't have a prepared script to follow. I get up on a stage and I talk to people like yourselves and I kind of wing it. I have so much material and I have such a problem of keeping it under the allotted time that I've been given. I have come today prepared to speak to you for 3 hours. I'm only allowed 1 hour and 15 minutes. So something's going to have to give. But bear with me, I'll do the damnedest job I can. And it's important that you see the photographs of the NASA pictures that I have brought with me. Now, my journey began 45 years ago. I began a journey that if I had known then what I know now, if I had known the pain, the anguish, the heartbreak that I was going to experience over these 45 years, I might not have started that journey at all. But here I am in Barcelona in 2009 with some of the most delightful people I have ever met. And looking back, I find that the journey was worth the effort. It was worth the pain, it was worth the heartbreak. And I'm delighted to be here. And I'm delighted to see all of you out there. And this is such an encouragement to me that people are beginning to demand the truth. They know they've been lied to from the very beginning. And they want to know. And I'm going to here this afternoon hopefully contribute one small measure to helping you understand and helping you know. Most of my adult life, or most of my first part of my adult life, I was a professional soldier. I was in the Army. I joined the Army in 1950 to avoid the draft. Ended up going to Officers Candidate School, and so help me God, while I was going to OCS at Fort Riley, Kansas, the North Koreans invaded South Korea, and the next thing I know, I'm on the front lines of Korea being shot at by a bunch of pissed off Chinese and North Koreans who tried to kill me. And I had nothing against them. You know, I didn't want to kill them. Here I am, 1951, leading combat troops in Korea in one of the bloodiest wars we've ever had. And the rest, I guess you could say, is history. I led combat troops in Korea in 1951. I spent 27 years on active duty, and I also was involved in the war in Southeast Asia in 1970. Where I was part of an organization that gathered intelligence in the jungles of Southeast Asia. South Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. And let me tell you, some of those years were rather harrowing. The most harrowing experience I was to have was when I was assigned to France in 1963 to what we considered in those days a plush assignment, a plum assignment. I was able to go to Paris, France, take my family with me, and my children went to high school and as I said, it was a plum assignment. I had no idea what I was to find when I got there. When I arrived in the summer of 1963, I arrived with a top secret clearance. When I arrived at Supreme Headquarters Allied Powers in Europe, which was located at that time at a small town known as Roquencourt, right outside of Paris, my security clearance was upgraded to cosmic top secret, which was then and still is today the highest level of security classification that NATO has. I had to have a cosmic top secret clearance to work in SHOC, Supreme Headquarters Operations Center, the War Room. I was a senior master sergeant at the time, and when I was assigned in SHOC, I was given the job of maintaining the duty rosters. We worked on a 24-hour basis, day after day after day. And I was given the job of running the duty rosters, and I worked in SHOC. And back in those days, let me tell you, the war rooms were somewhat primitive. You've seen pictures today, I'm sure, of the control centers of most major installations like SAC in Colorado Springs. Everything is electronic. Everything is demonstrated on the wall, extensions just like this beautiful stuff here. Back in those days, we had teletype, we had field telephones, and if we wanted something on the display, we had to go up and take a pin and put it on the wall and show the controllers where this division was, where that Soviet regiment was, and so on and so on. Very primitive. When I arrived in the summer of 1963, I heard rumors about a study that was underway. Now, it interested me because the study was about UFOs. And I was intrigued by that possibility, you know. I was curious about UFOs, had no idea then what they were, what they represented. But we used to discuss this in the SHOC, in the war room. The study was underway. What was it about? What happened? Well, it appears that on the morning of the 2nd of February, 1961, World War III almost began. And it was involved in the flyover of large numbers of circular metallic craft, flying in formations, very obviously under intelligent control. And they would fly out of the Soviet sector in the Warsaw Pact toward the west, in formation, at a high rate of speed, at a very high altitude. And they would turn north over the English Channel, over the southern coast of England, and then they would disappear off of NATO radar over the Norwegian Sea. On that morning of 2nd February 1961, World War III almost began. The Soviets went on red alert. The NATO forces went on red alert. Everybody was, fingers on their triggers, thumbs poised above those red buttons. And World War III was just moments away. Within 20 minutes, it was all over. The objects flew, turned north, disappeared off radar. It was all over. After this event occurred, a British Air Marshal by the name of Sir Thomas Pike